Sunshine, the beach, spending time with friends and loved ones. To fuck with all of that, it's G1 season. Anyone who's experienced the G1 Climax marathon before understands everyday life takes a backseat to, at very least, 5 feature-length block matches a day, sometimes an undercard tag or 2 if there's a particularly spicy matchup. We are 3 days in and we've already earned a 3-day break, because every day of block competition features must-see action that can only be seen once a year. It's all in the name of crowning the wrestler whose fortunes will shape the rest of New Japan's year as they roll into 2019 with a Wrestle Kingdom main event secured. This year is as wild as ever, with less to do with the challenger as the champion. There's no guarantees that Kenny Omega makes it to the Tokyo Dome as IWGP heavyweight champion, as this is all uncharted territory. Add to that the drama from the G1 special in San Fran, and G1 Climax 28 may not be as obvious as everyone thinks. In this episode of Moves Like Gedo, we'll examine how New Japan's booker faces down the challenge of crowning his Wrestle Kingdom main eventer, with options ranging from painfully safe to balls out insane. Since I've started watching, New Japan tournaments always feature easy cuts, and this year's G1 is no exception. Starting with A block, you can overlook any early victories and briskly sweep aside Togi Makabe and Yoshihashi. Hangman Page has the novelty factor as one of only 2 newcomers, but isn't set up to go too deep. Fale has a bit more intrigue than usual given his role with the new Bullet Club subplot, but that's where his chances end. And Evil planted the seeds of a Chris Jericho challenge later in the year, enough to render his already slim chances to 0. Elgin is a legitimate wildcard, given that his role is incredibly ambiguous in New Japan. He's out of favour in the US, but in NJP dub he can fight all the way up and down the card, but never really seems to stick to one spot. If New Japan want an A block wildcard to reach the finals, however, it would be the newly beltless Jay White. He's already a mainstay on New Japan's promotional materials, as if it weren't clear how high the company is on their new project piece already. Switchblade winning would entrench him as a top star, and Gedo certainly hasn't made it seem like White has reached his ceiling. If you discount White though, you get into the territory that Gedo has preferred in recent G1s, the safe territory. Okada, Suzuki and Tanahashi have all main evented the Tokyo Dome before, and if the goal is simply to put on a 5-star showcase with the IWGP champion, they can all handle the business. Suzuki least so because of his age and tendency to decapitate, then Tanahashi simply because his acedom has already passed. Okada without question is the favourite from A block to go on to win the G1. As bizarre as he's looked and acted since losing the title, it's still too soon to imagine him sub-main event in the Tokyo Dome. Many people will be pining for him not to win, simply for the sake of novelty, but should we not get our wish, we'll instead get the next installment in perhaps the greatest in-ring rivalry of all time, and that's a solid consolation prize. The B block competitors have a lot of credibility between them. 2 major champions reside in the block, Goto and Juice, but neither stand a great chance. Sanada is always ready to make that next leap, but doesn't look like it'll be now. Zack Sabre Jr. won the New Japan Cup, but he won't do the double, and the thought of Yano winning conjures every emotion imaginable, but mostly fear and confusion. It's far too early to know if Tama's new colours will amount to anything more than merch sales, but both he and Ishii deserve their wildcard status for B block winner. Kenny winning would be safe, albeit unusual, while the Kenny-coded dream match happening at the Budokan makes a Tokyo Dome rematch harder to imagine. That leaves last year's winner Tetsuya Naito to make it through block competition in search of redemption. Here's the thing I neglected to tell you about B block, and I'm sorry if this ruins the anything is possible spell that the G1 can cast, but I knows booking patterns when I sees them. Since the G1 started determining the Tokyo Dome main event pairing in 2012, the eventual dance partners did not share a G1 block. Wrestle Kingdom 7, Okada and Tanahashi, different blocks. Wrestle Kingdom 8, Okada Naito, different blocks. Wrestle Kingdom 9, Okada Tanahashi again, different blocks. 10, Okada Tana, different blocks. 11, Okada Kenny, different blocks. And 12, Okada Naito, different G1 blocks. Now it may be rigid, but it makes sense. Booking your biggest match of the year loses its gumption if the 2 squared off in block competition a few months earlier. However, does it mean we have to rule out an entire half of the field before the tournaments even got going? Yes, probably yes. And that sucks, but Gedo's gonna Gedo, and we have to live by his divine will. Now I know there are fail-safes in place, albeit ones that are rarely triggered. Namely, Kenny will have at least 1 defense before Wrestle Kingdom 13. And there's no guarantee he'll survive. Secondly, the Tokyo Dome briefcase holder does have defenses on the road to the Dome, but they have never lost, and it would certainly cheapen the whole tournament concept if that ever happened. So let's not even hope for it. But before I go full Gedo with my prediction, allow me to be a starry-eyed fan for just a second. Okay, so Kenny Omega wins the G1 as heavyweight champion, suffering only one loss. He goes on to offer the Tokyo Dome challenge to that opponent, Kota Ibushi. Kenny Kota 1 will already be insane, number 2 in the Dome for the title, new levels of insanity. Or Naito wins the G1, but arrogantly decides to bet the briefcase against the man he lost to in the G1, Sanada, who shocks the world by winning and becoming the first man to steal away the Tokyo Dome main event. Or by some miracle, Ishii wins. Just Ishii wins. Alright, enough daydreaming, time to go full Gedo. A Wrestle Kingdom 12 rematch, Kazuchika Okada vs Tetsuya Naito, will take place in the G1 Climax 28 finals. At that point, I'd give it a 75-25 chance to Okada, simply because his character doesn't really exist outside of the Tokyo Dome main event. Naito would absolutely be a fair shout and would give us some breathing room between Okada-Omega matches, but unfortunately Omega's reign may not be destined for too many more defenses. The course of New Japan would be severely altered if Gedo resisted returning to the safety of Rainmaker as champion, and we should all be hoping for at least more time before he retakes the throne. But New Japan have their poster boy. There he is, and it's not Naito, Kenny, or anyone else on their roster, it's Okada. Thinking with my Gedo-shaped head and not my Ishii blessed heart, Kazuchika Okada will win the 28th G1 Climax tournament.